Today in this session, I'm with Anastasiia Bondar, and she's going to give us some insights about Hiva, telling us that this is more than just a theme for Magento 2. We all know that the Hiva is a hype. The presentation before, it was William. So let's see what interesting Anastasiia is going to tell us. And if you have any questions during the session, feel free to ask in the question section. Here, Anastasiia is going to say to answer anything that you are interested to ask. Now I'm going to mute myself. Anastasiia, welcome, and I wish you good luck with the presentation.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Anastasiia Bondar, and I'm a front-end developer at Magento. Over the last 5 years, I have been working with our amazing e-commerce platform, created and improved a lot of different stores. And to tell the truth, I'd like to note that we did very similar task all the time. This is improving performance, optimizing our code, reduce dependency. Aren't you tired of removing the same components on one store to another, or maybe we just waste our time? As for me, I think that optimization of site really very important, and we need to spend time for it. In May 2021, Google announced that page experience signals would be included in Google search ranking. All of you knew that users like fast pages, but today we can say that even search engines don't want to wait. That's why we speed up our stores by repeating the same steps from one store to another and trying to improve our product. But what if we will create some new system that works faster from scratch? Magento 2 was created 7 years ago, and you guys know most of its problems. If not, please mind other speakers. Today, we have really modern technologies and even users' browsers that support them. Internet Explorer isn't blocker anymore, so we are free for using the latest approaches. When we start our work with Magento, we usually start with some basic theme, and in most cases, this is a Luma theme. However, projects that base it on the Luma theme are pretty slow, and also developers have to work with various libraries like Knockout, jQuery, Require.js, need to spend a ton of their time if need to provide some custom functionality or provide some small changes. In 2021, several guys from Western Europe were also tired of this approach and proposed their solution. This is the Hyvä theme. This is theme is suitable for Magento 2, and this is an improved alternative to the Luma theme. So just look at this comparison. Is it not amazing? Our team were impressed for these results, and we started to use Hyvä theme on our project. Of course, we understand that this seems something new for us, and we need to learn new technology, provide some research, investigation, understand how to work with data, and so on and so on. But to tell the truth, I was really surprised by how quickly we started work and how easy and interesting it was to make this switch. On this slide, you can see useful links that I collect during my work with Hyvä theme. If we will move to the styles, style core for the Hyvä theme are based on the Tailwind CSS. But there are nothing that prevent you using pure CSS. But to tell the truth, I strongly recommended you to try Tailwind and appreciate the helpfulness of this library at all. This library contains maybe thousands of classes. You can use different media breakpoints, and this library allows you to work with color palettes and different animation and do everything of that very easy and fast. Like Magento boilerplates has Magento Blank and Magento Luma. Hyvä contains Hyvä Reset theme and Hyvä default. But unlike Magento style sheets, those of Hyvä are based on Tailwind. And that's why you can modify them directly in your template. And like a library creator said, without even leaving your HTML. And maybe at first you can think that this is pretty complex, but to tell the truth, this is very easy and fast. Of course, if you are not ready for cumbersome your template, there I have another way to use Tailwind classes. You can use your lively CSS file just. For this, you need to use apply statements to retrieve style sets from Tailwind into your style sheet, and everything will work fine also. You might think, okay, I already know 228 different CSS properties. Why would I now learn some new class name? Maybe it was my first thing when I saw this library, but to tell the truth, library creators try to make class name as logical and straightforward as it possible at all. So probably you will need some cheat sheets at the beginning, and that's why I recommended you to use Tailwind CSS IntelliSense extension. This extension helps you with compiling the class name, and this extension also immediately showing what exactly CSS is hidden behind this name at all. Tailwind contains thousands of predefined CSS rules, and I think it wouldn't be a good idea to leave all of them in the production code. That's why Tailwind automatically removes all unused classes, which means that your final CSS bundle is smallest it could possibly be at all. So, in fact, most Tailwind projects ship less than 10 kilobytes to the client. Of course, thousands of classes already cover most of your ideas that we can have at all. But maybe one day you will need to add some new variables, some new property, or modify one of them. That's why preset values from Tailwind can be easily redefined in Tailwind config.js file. So you can create your own variables and change Tailwind style this way at all. And also feel free to use modern technologies, for example, like CSS variables, and to make your code really more flexible and maintainable. Tailwind approach without even leaving your HTML comes from Alpine.js, where you barely have an alternative. There are all necessary functionality is created directly in your template. So it simplified basic programming cases as compared to Knockout.js. And that's why developers doesn't need to switch between HTML and JS file anymore. But in fact, same as CSS, you also have an alternative. And if you understand that your functionality quite complex and you don't want to turn your HTML into a mess, you can move the initialization of the context and methods as the external function and make your code more similar to a Vue project. And switching to Alpine.js eliminates most JS libraries that we use in our Luma theme. Also, the interesting is communication between Alpine components. In Hiva, data is often sent from one component to another through event. And that's why you can dispatch event in your component and catch data in another one. If we will move to checkout, there we have two options. We can use default Magento checkout. For this, you need just to set up fallback theme. Or you can use branded Hyvä React checkout, which has been released not so long time ago, but still enough to fix all issues and have stable version. And before you move all your project to the Hyvä, I must say that we have some onion in our ointment. Of course, Hyvä is fast because it removes all extra dependencies. But all of you know that almost every Magento site uses third-party models. And if models uses knockout, you will have to rewrite it with Alpine. The same thing we have with plugins that use jQuery and so on. But I want to mention that the team adopted all the core Magento functionality, but but yes, we have some models that have not been rewritten yet. For example, belong to Magento Commerce B2B versions. So you can always go through the current support table in the official website and check all necessary information. But anyways, Hyvä team together with its community members are constantly working on the model's compatibility and have already processed more than 80 models. For instance, you can use their model compatibility tracker and check in real-time progress, or even take part in this process and contribute. So I think despite these disadvantages, pros outweigh. Thanks to high performance and faster development, you can implement the functionality of varying complexity really in very short period of time. For example, in our project, we also have the same issue with some models, and we implement we spent just a few weeks to implement few models, and it wasn't hard. Also, if you have any questions about working with the theme, you can ask them via Slack. But I want to mention that this channel is available only for paid customer. In this channel, the community discussed various peculiarities of working with the team, future contributions, also help if you have any questions, support you. You can ask how it's better to implement one feature or another, and so on. So in any case, Hyvä is something new and progressive. The developers really managed to create fast and high quality theme for Magento. And this theme is really rapidly gained popularity and showing great results. So I think you just need to try work with this theme. And one more thing, at Magento company where I work, we currently have some interesting job opportunities. And if you're interested about this, you can check in our website. If you have any questions, you can ask now or write me a message, find me on Hyvä Sim Slack channel, or maybe you want to share your experience with Hyvä. So thank you guys for your attention.
Thank you, Anastasiia. Thank you so much. I'm gonna read your comments, and we have something like 40 people in the room. So I encourage you guys to ask some questions so that we can, so that Anastasiia can answer them, or Willem as well, because we have all the Hiva top people in this room now. So let's use them. Let's answer us all the questions that we have. Anyway, couple of comments, Anastasiia, from the people that were seeing. They said Hiva team is Magento 2 frontend on steroids, Ryan says. And Willem says, we do love to help people debug their issues on our Slack. So
yes,
good to know. And then also there are people thanking you a lot on the presentation. There is one question asked. It's an anonymous person, and I don't know who is the best to answer, so I'm gonna first read it. It says, as I think Tailwind is the only downer in Hiva, are there any plans for a version without it, like a real blank theme? What a great question.
Yes, I think it's better to ask this question.
Yes. What's your standpoint
on that?
Yeah. What's your standpoint on that? Can you answer it, or?
As for me, sorry?
Do you, I mean, obviously you were talking a lot about Tailwind. Do you like it? Obviously you like it. No,
yes, it is the truth. At first, as I mentioned in my presentation, it was like what I need to do with all these classes, how I can work, and so on and so on. But now, for example, when in the project we discuss with developers how it's better to do, very often developers who already work with Hyvä and Tailwind say, okay, in Page Builder, we just need to explain client how to work with Tailwind classes. And I say, no, sorry, this project not use Hyvä yet. And say, so pity, we need to move everything to Hyvä. So it's really a great library, and I enjoy working with it. You can do any functionality.
Perfect. So, well, thank you for your answer. I think that, you know, as you can see, as you said yourself in the beginning, it was a little bit confusing, you know, but now that you started to using, you really see the benefits of it, and you like it. And I think that that's great. Willem replied to the question, so I'm going to read it for everyone wondering. Willem says, not at this point, but there are some agencies, the developers implementing their own CSS layer on top of the Hiva. For us, it is not possible to maintain multiple versions of the theme. Logical. Also, Tailwind is a crucial element in other products we are building, like our UI library. Most people really like Tailwind, like Anastasiia here, even when they initially dislike it. So that's really what it is about. Okay. As an agency, we are building all our project with Hiva team. It's amazing. That's a great, Ryan, that's a great feedback. Is there any maybe other question that someone would like to ask? Now is the time. So let's give a 1 minute or so. Kate says, thank you, Anastasiia, as well. Vinay as well. So people really like it. Okay. seems like there are no more questions. Anyway, if you would like to interact with Anastasia, she shared information how you can do it. There is another question. Perfect. Is there anything you dislike about the team? Pay no attention to Willem. Pay no attention to Willem and Vinay in the chat. So Anastasia, what's one thing that you dislike? Is there anything that you dislike about the Hiva team? What would be that thing that you dislike? If you need to pick one that you maybe a little bit dislike, maybe not that much.
Maybe a little bit these things with compatibility models, but as I mentioned previously, when you just do one feature compatibility, you understand this is not so terrible. This is easy to implement. You just need some time. But for now, I hope that I will have more experience with this theme.
And then there is another question from Ryan. Ryan says, as a developer, what do you love most about working with the Hiva team? Maybe something that you didn't cover in your presentation, let's say, that you would like to point here.
As developer, I enjoy how we can with components there, and also I like that this is not hard to provide some new variables. I enjoy how implement style using page builder and Tailwind also in Hiva.
Perfect. So Ryan said, he replied that he doesn't like to work. Mine is not having to work with the knockout JavaScript. So that's the best thing about it. That's funny.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna spell this wrong. I'm sorry. Is it Kiel? Kiel maybe? Or Kyle? Maybe Kyle. Kiel. Sorry for spelling it wrong. He says compatibility models are pretty fun for him or her. Him, her. The vendor code, not always so much. So there are some very great comments. Perfect. Another question. Keep them bringing, guys. Another question says, what advice would you give to a developer that didn't start with the Hiva teams yet, but it's about to start for the first time?
Maybe at the beginning you need to
great question, by the way.
Yes. You need to spend some time for reading documentation about Alpine.js, how to work with data, about Hyvä functions that already presented, maybe some short time spent for Tailwind, how to work with GraphQL. But to tell the truth, it will not be really a very hard switching. So this is just the first impressions that there are a lot of new technologies that you need to learn. But to tell the truth, when you start to learn with it, it's really very fast and easy. So I think I need to start with documentation.
Yeah, it's a great place to start, documentation, yes. Well, we have another question. How much time did it take to feel better? The Tailwind is a big topic. That's good because this is what is mostly we talk about this. So how much time did it take to you to feel better with the Tailwind? Because you also mentioned that, in the beginning was struggling.
It wasn't take a lot of time, maybe just for a few weeks, but as I mentioned, I use extensions that help me to understand what exactly class names I need to use. And as I mentioned previously, library creators really spent a lot of time to create class names very logical.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a problem.
Okay, perfect. So not that much in the beginning, a little bit, but you find your way.
Yes, sure.
And how
As
long?
any technology, yes, sir.
Yes. And how long have you been right now working with the Hiva? For how long now?
We released our first Hiva project in the beginning of October, and after that start do another one.
Perfect.
So I'm not sure I say how much time it will take,
Okay.
but have already 2 projects released.
That's perfect. So in the less than 8 months that you has experienced, 2 projects on Hiva are already launched. So that's
Yes, and first of this project really was very complex because there were a lot of conditions with different customers and so on. But implement all this functionality was we implemented this functionality very fast because using of Alpine and client also was very happy because site very fast.
yeah, very fast.
Yes.
Impression is very good. That's beautiful. I think that's the point of all the points. When you build some even complex project and then you see the results and they're great, I think that's the best like a feeling.
Yes, and also the structure that we use in Alpine, when all your function in template, it also help another developers quickly find what exactly parts they need to use, and this is also one like plus for.
Beautiful. So is I'm gonna ask you one question on my own, but I encourage you people because we still have some time. If someone wants to ask some more questions, feel free. Anastasia is here to answer them. I'm gonna have a like this is what I ask on the interview, but I really want you to tell me how would you describe Hiva in 3 characteristic words? If you need to say like so if someone needs to guess it's Hiva, what are the 3 words or 3 characteristics that you would like that when you say them someone is gonna be say, okay, this is a synonym for Hiva?
I think flexible,
Fast,
and interesting because now when previously we work with Knockout.js, we can't use some modern technology and so on. And now developers has this opportunity. So this is new challenge, and that's why new challenge are always something interesting.
Exactly. I think that's when you are a good developer, then having a new challenge is something that is very important.
Yes.
Well, Anastasia, thank you for a beautiful presentation. We had a bunch of questions and people really like it. So thank you so much. And whoever didn't or was a little bit shy to ask something, don't hesitate to contact Anastasia directly. And also if you're struggling with learning Hiva or something, I think that she's a great person to talk to and she's going to help you and encourage you and tell her, really explain you maybe in the more details how she started.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for all of you guys, now we have some more sessions, so feel free to enjoy them. We have something like 2 hours more, so let's go for it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.